Hey.
Yeah. All right. Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 2 of the new season 3 of Underground with the Unbound.
Hey.
Yeah, I am LJ, your host, and this time around we're chilling with Songbird.
What's up?
May BitterSweet.
Hey.
Hi May, how you doing?
Good, great. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Lovely.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for doing this interview with us. Yeah. Alright, starting it off, I'm sure singing isn't just it's just one of your superpowers, so to speak. Can you tell us more about that and a bit about yourself?
I have been singing for literally as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
I was an adopted child. My grandparents adopted me, and my step-granddad, he did gigs when I was growing up, so it was his hobby. And so being in the bedroom right next to his practice room, I was just always hearing, singing and playing guitar. So eventually I kind of got into that myself. And I was very, very young, probably around 5 years old, the first time I ever performed in front of anyone. So I've kind of been getting the hang of stage presence for quite some time.
Yeah.
At around age 9, I learned how to play the guitar. At around age 10, 11, I was in a girl band, a little girl group with some other small teenage girls, and I was the drummer, and we all sang. And then I was in youth band for a while, and after, I think after my 4th, 5th school performance, I decided I kind of wanted to do this as a career. And so I had a friend who was making beats. He was trying to be a producer and stuff, and so we got together and I started making some little home recording songs. I wanted to release an album, but I didn't.
Still in the pipeline, hopefully.
Still in the pipeline. No, I've got many albums planned now.
Yeah.
It's just one of those gotta get myself organized things. If anybody is out there who's a manager and is looking for another artist. But yeah, so then when I finished school, I actually ended up, after my gap year, applying to a music school in California, and I went there. So I went to the California College of Music for a year and a half, and I graduated with a vocal performance certificate. And then I did a little more training so that I was able to train others in vocal performance. And then I did community college in the same city, and I studied theater and communication arts. And learned other styles of performance art. I was on stage for a while, and then I did a whole bunch of backstage stuff. I did set building, I did hair and makeup, and then I even moved on to stage managing at some point, from tech crew to stage management. And then I came back to Botswana when my visa expired. I didn't feel like I was done learning all of the things I wanted to learn. But you know what? I came here and I found so much unbelievable talent in this country. And I was like, dang, I ran away for nothing. Because, I could have built my network here. Instead, I left when I was 19, so I built my entire adult network abroad, and then I came back here and I started from scratch. I went to the Gem and Soul live sessions and saw those, and then the Perfect Noise became a thing, and now I'm stage managing the Perfect Noise.
Wow.
And now I'm in a place where I've recorded a few songs with other producers. I've got a song with Wings that I'm not sure when that's coming out because it's on his album.
Oh yeah. Legend in the making.
It's not in Legend in the Making.
Oh.
It's in one that's unreleased. It's not.
Oh, okay.
It's not,
okay.
But Legend in the Making is, oh my gosh, what an album, right?
Yeah. Shout out to Wings.
Shout out to Wings. So now I've got a few songs that are unreleased, and I would love to work with all types of producers. I'm not bound to any one genre, any one style of singing. I can do it all.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, thank you.
I believe.
And now I'm also doing gigs around town as a vibe shaman. So not necessarily just vocalizing. I also like come with, you know, some tunes, and then sometimes I'll like just dance, or sometimes I'll vocalize on top of already existing recorded vocals by other people. And so that's gonna be, I don't know, I feel like that's gonna be a really fun time. If anybody who owns a restaurant or an event space, like a vibe shaman, I've got your back.
And you know what would be cool to go with that? Sound bowls.
Sound bowls!
Yeah.
Ooh, yes, that would be amazing.
Are you into sound bowls?
I am. I actually, so about a month ago, I did a spiritual retreat.
Okay.
With our heart center. They came to Botswana and we went to Ruritz, like 8 of us. And there were actually sound bowls there. I was just so like captured by the beauty of those sounds. They also had like this really cool thunder tube. It's basically like you move it around and it makes thunder sounds.
Okay.
Yeah, like it was a very sonic journey that weekend. It was beautiful.
I can just imagine. Like I'm big on using sound to heal.
Yes.
So, wow. Yeah,
Yes,
I can just
sound is-
imagine how dope it was.
It was amazing.
Yeah. How important is art to you?
Art is everything. Without art, I wouldn't be alive right now. Yeah, I feel like without music, especially, like personally, life would be a mistake. Music has this way of, I don't know, reaching out and touching a person's soul the way that nothing else can. Art in general, I think, actually. So I have a promotions and entertainment business. I forgot to mention that. Oops. It's called Sampagita Promotions and Entertainment. I'm still kind of like getting that off the ground. But underneath this company, I'm trying to register an NGO called Art Against Depression. And its goal is to use art and artistic expression to raise awareness for mental health in Botswana.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you've noticed, but this country is in desperate need of some mental health awareness.
Definitely.
Yeah, so just to like to finish that question of how important is art to you, I actually have a bridge by my spirit animal, Frank Turner. He wrote a song called I Still Believe, and the bridge goes, and I still believe in the saints, yeah, in Jerry Lee and in Johnny and all the greats, and I still believe in the sound that has the power to raise a temple and tear it down. And I still believe in the need for guitars and drums and desperate poetry. And I still believe that everyone can find a song for every time they've lost and every time they've won. So just remember, folks, we're not just saving lives, we're saving souls and we're having fun. And that's what art means to me.
Exclusive. That was an exclusive. Yeah. Wow. And you were born in China?
I was born in the Philippines.
You were born in the Philippines?
Yeah, but before I had a chance to turn 1 year old, my family brought me here to Botswana.
Okay.
It's actually a really complicated family history, but essentially, like, I was born out of wedlock. And so my biological mom's mom freaked out. She was in Zambia, like, teaching. So she flew over, and then while my biological mom was still in postnatal care, they came through and took me to their home village, and they basically, like, adopted me, but, like, low-key, but, like, not on document. Yeah.
Wow. That's so you're actually an unbound traveler.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. And that's the context that I'm coming from is you've been to all these places, you know. Yeah, so they all form sort of like a part of who you are today, type thing, you know.
100%.
So you don't remember anything about the Philippines?
I mean, I visited so throughout the course of my life, occasionally, like every other year or so, we would go and visit for vacation. I have only ever been there longest at a time 3 weeks. And it is actually, it's like, it would have been an ideal place after my studies in America for me to try and like make some kind of like career for myself.
Right.
But I personally, like, you know, Botswana is home. I personally would have been incredibly culture shocked if I had to move to the Philippines, because every time I went there for vacation, like it would get so hot that like I would find myself only wearing shorts and skirts, and I started to miss wearing pants. And like I wouldn't want to go outside unless I was going to the mall where it's always air conditioned. So I mean, as much as I love the Philippines, as much as I have a lot of friends there, as much as there's a lot of like opportunities for art and entertainment there, my soul really wanted to keep me in Botswana.
Okay, I feel you. Which means that you basically you've been in Bots almost all your life.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was here from age like 7 months, probably around 7-8 months, to age 19.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I came back age 25, age 24, 25.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I actually was gonna ask you how bots influence like your whole creative direction, but actually now I see that I wanna ask you how Philippines did that, if at all.
I think that it kind of gave me the freedom to kind of just not be afraid to be myself. Because in Botswana, you know, especially when you're growing up, you always want to do the cool thing, you know? And the cool thing was always hip hop and house, right? At least for me, like growing up in my generation, everybody who was anybody who was in a dance crew or was in any type of like, you know, known music crew, they were doing hip hop, they were doing house, or they were doing kwaito, right? So having access to the Filipino community in Botswana meant that I could like learn how to dance with just, you know, simple little dance moves, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know. And eventually, like as I grew up and like as I was just kind of exposed to whatever music I was able to listen to, which actually the Philippines did help a lot with, because as much as like we had CDs and music stores and like eventually the internet, like unless you ventured out there to find it all yourself, you kind of were only exposed to whatever was popular on the radio in Botswana. So whenever I would go to the Philippines, not only did my friends there who received music earlier than we would, like the music releases would air there before they would air here on like MTV or O or something, right? They would like kind of compile memory sticks full of music, absolutely full of music, and not even just the popular stuff, but whatever they were listening to, you know, whatever they could find on the faster Filipino interwebs. And so I feel like just being a part of two different communities kind of gave me flexibility in what I wanted to do. It didn't make me just wanna, I wanna be famous, I have to stick to this, I have to stick to that. Because I did kind of start off that way, you know. I have a few early tracks where you'll find me like rapping on the bridge. I mean, not that I don't love rapping. It's just I'm glad that I've had the chance to kind of like explore myself and realize that I don't have to be beholden to any one thing. Especially ever since I went to music school, I kind of fell in love with, you know, like jazz and swing and like I don't know, like electric fusion of both new style and old school. It's been happening a lot online lately, so it's like I don't know
what you call it, but it sounds nice. It sounds nice. Like first time I saw you performing, was it Perfect Noise, right?
Yeah.
I don't recall whether it was last year or 2020.
Yeah, I remember when Perfect Noise actually just started getting off the ground. I had a performance. I did have an accompanist, Jimmy. Me and him, he played on guitar and then I sang. It was just like a very small show. And then I performed on the lineup when Jade was headlining. I think that was December. No, that was November. So that was November of last year.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was fun. I did a couple of originals, and then I did a couple of covers, and then for the very, very, very first Perfect Noise that I stage managed, that was Brian BC's Perfect Noise.
Ooh.
I also wrote, because it was World Musical Theater Day. It was World Theater Day. And so I convinced T Money to let me write a script for the show, like all the in-betweens between the acts. And for a couple of those I actually like sang as well. Like I did a parody of Satisfied from Hamilton.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, that was really fun.
Now, speaking about the vocal artist, May, right? Clearly you know the power of your voice, right?
Yes.
Have you ever actively used that power to heal either yourself or other people?
Hell yes.
However it is that you define healing.
Yeah, no, I would definitely say so. I think using one's voice is incredibly healing. I think that, like, regardless of whether it was with song or just with my voice in general, like, what I have to share, what I listen to, what I think, you know, I feel like not only has that given myself a path for healing, but others as well, because you know, I don't know if you've noticed that, like, depending on what show or like who's performing, you can either get some really like high vibration healing content, or you can get, you know, just the normal, like, what am I doing, you know, girls, sex, drugs, hurt, heartbreak kind of songs. There's nothing wrong with those at all. Like, they have a place in the healing journey as well. But what I love about my place in my own journey right now is that I love to share that high vibration healing content with others. Like I was telling you about the Vibe Shaman gig that I did recently. That was actually 2 weeks ago or so at the Swap and Thrift. And a lot of the songs that I kind of wanted to expose people to that day were like, leave what's heavy behind, and like, you know, things like there's no such thing as perfection, and like you know, we all want to be together, you know, like one love type of things. And I also love to use my voice to expose people to other artists who have, you know, that kind of amazing content. Like, for example, this past Perfect Noise, Goth Rose was the headliner. And man, did I use my voice. Like, even though I was not on stage performing, I was on the ground screaming hell, you know, just like, I love you, Goth Rose!
Yeah, hyping it up.
Yes, hyping, you know, like, you know, screaming at the person who's giving you their all and their energy from stage, being like, I love you, you're amazing, you know. So like, also just, you know, singing along when they're on stage, so people know that, you know, you really love their song. And then also just, like I said, away from the stage, when you use your voice to encourage people, you know, Goth was feeling really nervous about being headliner at, like, not on the day, but like prior to that, because my homie Mo, he made her outfit for the show. So she was like coming over and, you know, we would have discussions. And I don't know, just to give people that, you know, encouragement to be like, you do deserve to be a headliner. Your content is amazing. You are amazing. You know, just to use your voice to share and spread love to others. And then like also just like apart from that person themselves, just saying to the people that you know who also love the same kind of content or who need that kind of content, hey, you should listen to Goth Rose, you know, or like just having a conversation with someone like that. There's so much power in a person's voice. There's so much power in using your voice, just to say, hey, I'm feeling some type of way, I'm feeling A, B, and C, let's talk about it. You know, using your voice to speak your truth and to communicate, very important. Using your voice to hype people up, very important. Using your voice to, I don't know, you could just really need a healing scream session, because I did that once. Like, I think it was this past weekend, on Friday. Like, I had a kind of mental breakdown, and I just kind of sat in bed screaming to the gods, and it was very healing.
Yeah, that helps. that helps. Or you could do it with a pillow.
Yeah.
Just in case there's somebody else
right
around that. Yeah. Okay. Now with regards to mental health, I just there's an artist called Licky.
Yes.
Do you know her?
I know of her.
Yeah, she's an R&B singer, but she's also focused on mental health issues.
Yes.
So she has I was gonna say that she has a thing that she does with yoga artist.
Yes.
Her name doesn't come to mind right now, but they have a thing that they do with yoga and mental health. So we did an interview, and she was talking about how that has helped her deal with the issues that she had.
Love it.
You know, so I was thinking that maybe you guys could, do something together since.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. Okay, and then the acting, how does it tie into your story, as a living, breathing, universal entity?
I think that I think it really elevated my performance skills, or elevates my performance skills, because at some point I realized, as amazing as my voice is, that it's not about having the perfect voice, especially when I've been in front of a live audience. When you connect with your audience, when you can perform for them, when it's not about, I need my voice to be perfect, and all of my focus and concern is on my voice being perfect, hitting all the right notes, being in key the whole time. It is appreciated, but it is way more appreciated when your audience can see your authenticity, when they can see the you behind the voice. And acting is kind of just another layer of yourself. You're saying, what do I need to portray right now, and how does that look through my lens? Like, what does it look like if I'm reaching out? What does it look like if I'm, in a kind of sad but kind of hopeful state, And so I think that the acting helped a lot in terms of not just my own performance, but my performance coaching. Because now, as the stage manager at The Perfect Noise, during the sound check, I also offer the performers notes that they can, take or leave, but they're there.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, on your Facebook profile, there's something that you say, your intro, your intro. I'm quoting here, by the way. We are each a fractal of a universal consciousness. Self-awareness is the key to navigating life, right?
Yes.
Would you say self-awareness is freedom?
Yes. Self-awareness is the ultimate freedom, because then you realize how much power you have within yourself. As much as the world can be crazy, as much as sometimes it throws things your way that you may not want to deal with, as much as, sometimes we're presented with challenges and obstacles that we would rather not deal with. At the end of the day, having self-awareness is what will take you through everything. Because no matter what comes your way, you can choose how to respond to it. You can choose what you want to learn from it. You can choose how to move forward. Instead of focusing on what you can't control, what you are subject to, instead of saying, oh no, this happened to me, you can say, okay, so this happened, what can I do?
Yeah, what's next?
Yeah, how do I feel about it? And depending on how I feel about it, what is next? What do I want to just, internalize this and take these lessons for myself? Or is there something that I need to externalize and talk about? Is there something that needs to be dealt with that I can't, that is within my power, you know? And there's a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of options if we take the time to just breathe through it and let those feelings flow through us, whatever those feelings might be. Because, you know, the full spectrum of life, if you really want to live a full, you know, beautiful, enjoyable life, you also have to be willing to go through those not as pleasant times.
Yeah.
Otherwise, then you just keep living the same cycles. Because, I mean, the patterns that we live through, they are there because, as a consequence of our choices and our actions. So as much as, oh, things keep happening to me, why? What mindset do you have that is keeping this pattern flowing in your life? So I really think that self-awareness, you know, it's kind of essential if you want to navigate life without feeling kind of thrown under the water or lost. And sometimes you still will, but like, it feels a lot less overwhelming when you remember that you are in fact one small part of a universal fractal consciousness. Because, you know, we are connected. So even if you feel like, oh, you know, this other being, this other person, it has subjected me to A, B, and C, you can still either, you can talk to them, you can walk away, you can reach out with your energy and try to like shift theirs, or you can completely disconnect your energy from theirs and be like, this is not for me. There's always a choice. Or you can just be like, oh, okay, so I'm just gonna like slightly shift so that your energy doesn't affect mine as much. I don't think it's necessary for us to not be in each other's lives anymore, but definitely we shouldn't be close the way we've been close. It's not necessary anymore. We're not in the same alignment, you know?
Right. Which is interesting because one of my teachers gave a statement. He was like, there are problems that can be solved and there are those that need to be dissolved. And you know, I didn't get it at the time, but you know, it has stuck with me now.
Yeah.
You know, I think only now am I just starting to just, you know, disassemble every little detail about that statement and actually applying it in, you know, to my life.
Yeah.
You know, because some of these things you can feel, they can make you feel like you're being selfish, right? When you're like, we're taught that loving yourself, you know, you need to love other people first, you need to take care of other people, and then love ourselves after.
It's funny because like on, I don't know, not just the internet, but nowadays, it's kind of like a very, there's a broken message happening. Because some people are like, no, you have to love others first and then love yourself. And some people are like, you can't love others without loving yourself. If your cup is empty, how can you love others? How can you fill other people's cups, right? And there's this battle going on between the two, but you know, it's a balance. Everything is a balance. Everything is yin and yang. Everything is kind of like it's in flow state. So balance doesn't mean it's always like this. That's not what balance means. The way we look at yin and yang, right? It's doing this kind of thing. Like it's always shifting. And especially when it comes to energies, when it comes to beings, when it comes to living choices, energy can like one small choice can shift the energy, and it causes this whole chain reaction that requires a balancing out, right? So I think that yes, sometimes it is really important to love yourself first. Don't try and fill other people's cups when your cup is not full, or when you haven't been filling your own, because otherwise you're spreading broken messages, right? Or you're basically like people pleasing, right? There's nothing wrong with being selfish sometimes, but on the other hand, it's that self-awareness again. You have to be self-aware in order to practice either of these forms of love. Because if you're not careful, then it's no longer a case of I'm loving myself and therefore others receive that same love. then becomes a case of, I want this, I'm going to have this, I don't care about anyone else, if it hurts them, fuck off. You know, like it becomes this kind of self-serving, oh, but I am how I am, that's just how it is, if you don't like it, go away, you don't deserve my love. You know, it's a balance, like we should never be too much of one or the other.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, now that we've heard your glimpse, like just the glimpse of what freedom means to you, like where are you in terms of living your life within that freedom?
I would say that I am integrating. I have been aware of this freedom for quite some time now. I gained this awareness during my last year in America, right? But putting it into practice is a lot more difficult, is it not?
Yeah, it is.
There are times when we'll be going through the most and you just want to feel sorry for yourself, right? I'm in this place in my journey where I honestly cannot be happier with where my life is right now. Like, as much as so many of my original goals did not come to fruition, as much as, like, you know, life has been throwing me around here and there, as much as things are still very much chaotic for me. Like, I wouldn't say that I'm in a stable or peaceful place in my life. And yet I have peace. Even though there are some days where I will spend crying into my pillow, like after I cry into my pillow, I'm happy again. You know, I can flow through those states and those emotions and like start a new day with a smile on my face, a genuine, joy-filled smile on my face. And like, even if I start the day feeling like crap, even if I wake up on the wrong side of the bed, like I don't want to do my sun salutations today, like I can still pick myself up. Like, I'm able to flow through the events of life in a way that's kind of dissociative, actually. like 1 minute I'll be the moodiest person, and then somebody else walks through the door and they're like, hey, man, I'll be like, oh my God, it's you, what, give me a hug, you know? And so I feel like, I mean, that is like pretty much the ultimate freedom that we're talking about, right? Like, I am not, okay, so in regards to mental health, I personally have been diagnosed with quite a few things, including depression, not otherwise specified. And so, as much as I can say, oh yeah, sometimes I get chemically depressed, like, I haven't been suicidal in years, because I finally, you know, reached a place within myself where I'm like, life is amazing, life is beautiful. Like, as much as life can still throw some hella ugly punches, it's because of those hella ugly punches that I get to, like, you know, wipe the blood off my face, look around and be like, damn, that is a gorgeous rose bush, I'ma smell it, you know? Like, not literally, but, you know, like,
you're seeing the beauty in the little things.
Yes, because I'm allowing myself to experience the negativity. I'm not closing myself off to the equal positivity. If I say to myself, I never want to have my heart broken, ever, never, then I'm not really truly opening myself up to love, to loving someone, to being loved, because I'm constantly scared, I'm constantly on the lookout for someone to betray me, someone to break my heart, you know? Like, any small red flag, any small, you know, I mean, look, always look out for them red flags, but sometimes it's us, you know? We have to sit with these feelings long enough to be like, is it really the other person or is it me? You know, and I'm in that space where sometimes for like a good hour, I'll be like, oh, you know, telling myself this story, this narrative in my head, oh, this person did this and therefore they must A, B, and C, and therefore, you know, their feelings about me, A, B, and C, blah, blah, blah. And then like, I let that happen without acting on it, without being impulsive or like acting up because of those emotions. And then I let it flow through me, and then I'm like, okay, now that I've had that discussion with myself, what other options are there? Like, what else could it be? Is it like something from the outside? Is it me maybe? Maybe I have too many expectations. Maybe, you know, I am like too much in my own needs and I don't realize that they're too much opposing to this other person's needs, and I'm just being like really emotional right now. Which, like I said, nothing wrong with being emotional.
Yeah.
You gotta be emotional sometimes.
Yeah.
But like, like being able to be emotional sometimes, being able to just sit with your sadness, being able to be uncomfortable, that puts you in a place in life where you literally have the ultimate freedom to choose where you want to be. Because, you know, I could show up someplace and be in a bad mood and be like, nah, there's no vibes here. Or I could show up someplace and be like, oh, nothing's happening, let me bring the vibes, you know? So I just think it's kind of the freedom here is in enjoying the seesaw, you know, because it's a balancing act, but you can't control that balancing act. You gotta let go of control, gotta go with the flow, like Arthur says. Then life will take you to all the places that you want to see and help you be the person that you want to be. Yeah.
And as you're saying that, I'm thinking about an exhibition that an artist called Ramani Shwalani did.
Okay.
I don't know if you know her.
I've seen a couple of her pieces.
Yeah. So she has an exhibition called Feel Your Feelings.
I remember seeing a poster for that.
Yeah. So as you're speaking right now, that is, she's coming to mind with that specific, you know, exhibition.
I
It's
love that.
Yeah, just feel your feelings.
Yes.
All of them.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what are you currently working on?
Right now, I'm working on an extended play. I'm writing some songs, hoping to collaborate with some local artists.
Yeah.
I'm also currently coaching 3 different students, 2 for vocal and then 1 for performance art in general. And I'm also working on a few photography sets, some urban sets and some boudoir sets. Yeah, I realize I'm working on quite a lot. Every month you'll find me stage managing The Perfect Noise. And the last thing that I'm working on is my vibe shaman gigs. So, you know, just restaurants, event spaces, just anything where you kind of want to DJ, but you don't want it to be like too loud, too much hype, just, you know, vibes.
Yeah.
I'm there to feel the vibes out and
Like lo-fi.
yeah, not necessarily just lo-fi, but just so you know, like I flow with the energy that's in the space.
Okay.
So whatever I feel like, you know, the audience has to offer and to absorb, I'll kind of like, you know, go through my stuff and be like, what will this audience appreciate? And like, what can I do for them? So sometimes I just, you know, let the music play, do a few like ba-da-boop-ba-bum vocalizations, like no lyrics necessary. And then sometimes, you know, you can see that they really wanna hear some of those, you know, heal me type vibes. And then sometimes you have an audience that literally just wants to dance. And so you do that.
Okay. So meaning that you're available for bookings and all of that?
I'm available for bookings. Just reach out to me on official ma5y@yahoo.com. I have a Facebook page, I have an Instagram, Amazing Vocals. That is spelled MAA5 SING or ZING. I think they're different, one of them on Facebook, one of them on Instagram. And then VOXX.
Okay.
Amazing Vocals.
I could sit here and just listen to you talk. You have so much wisdom and stuff. Yeah, but anyway, thank you for doing this interview. Like I said, you know.
Always. If you ever want to do another, I'm around.
For sure. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, and I do hope that everything that you wanna do, you get to do.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So with that being said, Thank you to everybody who's watched up until this point. You're a legend for watching this long.
Yes, legend, Hausch, thank you.
Shout out to each and every one of you guys, and see you on the next episode. Peace.
Peace, bye.